Hey everybody, this is John Scarborough. I wanted to talk a little bit about my four-wheeler setup and kind of the breakdown, what I like to have on it at all times. I use my four-wheeler is very handy, and I use it for all sorts of different things. So everybody knows that I build custom fire pits for people. I do a little bit of fab work on the side here and there, and then I do a lot of work with the cows and fixing fence and things like that. And then I help Savannah some with what she does with the microgreens. So I've got a wide variety of things that I do, and sometimes I end up doing 3 or 4 different things in one day. So it's very important that I have my four-wheeler set up a certain way, because a lot of times that's what I'm on. So come over here and I'll show you some of the most important things that I've got. The number one most important thing is this right here, a four-wheeler dog. You cannot get away with it. So anyway, this is Brutus, this is my dog. He loves to ride with me. So this basket right here, I really like that basket. I don't really prefer the ones that drop down. They're gonna get mud all over them. They're okay if all you want is to throw a box in every now and then or something like that, and most of the time it's empty, or you just keep some chains in there, that's fine. For me, I don't really like it. I like this one. It's set back a pretty good ways, so it makes it where 2 people ride on there comfortably, but yet I've got some room here if I need to. And if I'm just riding, obviously my dog can come with me, or a good feed sack or something can go in there easy, no problem. I like to keep these little bungee cords on here. These are so handy. If you throw a feed sack on there, a mineral, excuse me, not a feed sack, I apologize. Mineral sack is what I actually meant, a sack of mineral. I've got a little empty feed sack over there is the reason I keep fumbling over my words. But these are really handy. No matter what you've got on here, these just really come in handy. I've got a couple in the front, a couple in the back. They work really well. And then this is a box I made a trade from somebody. It's a Honda box. And I'm not promoting Honda, by the way. I do love Honda four-wheelers, but this is a dry box. As far as being dry, it works very well. As far as being convenient, I would say I don't really like it too much. But I have done a little bit of modifications to it, and now I do like it. So really, you just take it for what it is. And one of the things that I really think you should always have on your four-wheeler for fixing fence is this right here. You can buy this at Tractor Supply. I think it's $40. It's a little fence stretcher. This works great for hot wire. At least it does for me. It works great for barbed wire, and it also works great for net wire. And for what I do around the farm, leasing property from people, working on my own property and all like that, there's barbed wire, there's net wire, there's hot wire. I'm pretty sure that's all it is, but you get the point. There's a wide variety. I don't ever know exactly what I'm gonna get into. Sometimes I even working with some pipe fence that somebody else built, or maybe I built for them. But no, don't really have any trouble with that for the most part. The point is you never know what you're getting into or what you're gonna be working on. So this right here works very, very well. So let's go ahead and go inside the box here. This, I do like the setup for this box. I'm still not thrilled with this box. This lid right here shouldn't stay straight up and down. It should be able to lay back just a little or something like that. Like I said, it does an excellent job of staying dry. For all the stuff that I get into, it does a great job. So it is a good dry box. I will give them that for sure. So come over here, Savannah, and let's take a look inside the box here. I made these partitions in here out of wood. I had to split them in half and make it to where they'll fit, just to get them down in there, because it's so hard to get through all of this. But it does work good. They're split in half, and so I can pull them out of there if I think I want to change something. Okay, so back over here, in kind of nestled in, I usually grab it right here. Comes out pretty easy. This, not to do a product review, but this is an excellent tool. This is your Texas fence stretcher. It's not mine, it's on loan right now, but it works just right in there, works really well. I've got the chain tied up here. This is about, I don't remember, it's over $100. It's much more expensive than this one. I can't say that I like either one better. I really like them both. I find this one better for repairs, and then this one's obviously I just about have to have this one for building, and I also really like it for repairs as well. If I had to be left with one, just one, I couldn't have both, it would probably go ahead and be this one, mostly because of the price, but just simply partly for what it is. It's just a little bit more versatile. You can hook to a post if you really got to, and you've got much wider jaws. These are really nice. I do like these. This is on loan. I will be sorry to see it go once I have to give it back. And then there's this, okay? This right here is just a simple pair of, well, they're limb trimmers. I've always called them loppers. That's what my mother always called them. I really don't know exactly what they're called. Do you, Savannah, know what these are called?
Shears.
I mean, I know obviously shears.
Something like that.
Whatever the case may be, they chop limbs, and they work incredibly well. This is something I did not intend to have on my four-wheeler. I really didn't think I needed it. I still don't need it. But I'm gonna go ahead and say we were working on some fence, and this thing just came in handy so much, and I accidentally left it on the four-wheeler, and it's just stayed here. And now I really think I'm gonna leave it on here, because so many times I'll be riding along on the fence, and there's a little tree or something just starting to grow up through a fence. And I mean, it's just so easy to just jump off and just chop it down before it ever becomes a problem. So if you've got room for it, this is nice. Being able to set them up like this really makes a difference. If I couldn't separate everything and make it to where I could get it out without digging over it, it wouldn't be worth doing. I definitely wouldn't do it. This right here. See, that's why I don't like this lid right here, because it falls down. Other than that, I do pretty much like this box, but just keep that in mind if you buy one. This is an S-wing hatchet, axe, whatever you want to call it, short axe. To me, it's a little long for a hatchet. It's definitely short for an axe. So I'm just going to call it for a short axe. So, but I wouldn't trade this for anything. This is the best axe I've ever owned. My brother-in-law actually owns the actual axe, the longer one, and I've used it, and I really do like it as well. But this to me is a perfect little convenient size for this four-wheeler, because I've got a hammer here. Now, it's not the best hammer on earth, but this is a pretty decent hammer, okay? So this, with the length, I can use this as an axe right there. And then I can kind of come in here and get past this little curve right here and come in right there, just maybe come in a little bit shorter. And I can use this as a really nice hammer. So this, to me, this is a good, if you're trying to keep it light on your four-wheeler, this is really nice to have. But as far as the axe side, the best axe I've ever owned. I have never used another axe that I've liked better. As far as this goes back in the throat, I can literally chop a tree that big almost every time in one hack. Okay, definitely no more than 3 at the max if it's a hard tree. So love this axe, S-wing. I'm not, like I said, I'm not promoting anyone, but by golly, they do it right. This is a good axe. If I had to use an axe every day, I probably wouldn't use a metal handle, but as little as I use an axe on the four-wheeler, I just use it every now and then. If I need something every day, I'm gonna go get my chainsaw. So I really love this thing, okay? And out of that, I'm gonna just go ahead and tell y'all, if I had to keep just 2 tools on this whole four-wheeler, first of all, I wouldn't be that limited. But if I had to keep 2 tools, it would be this one right here, that one right there, and it would be this right here. Both of these tools right here. I would never need any other tools for fixing fence. Everything else on here, and I know what you're thinking. You're thinking fence stretcher or something like that. I'm gonna get into all of that later. We'll make some more videos. But this right here, these 2 tools, I could literally do every single thing that I needed to in a pinch, okay? So if I only had 2, these would be the 2 I would do, all right? So I'm gonna put that axe back in there. I'll go ahead and talk about this since I got it. I don't know what the best brand is for these. This one is at a local store that we have here. It's my favorite one I've seen in town. I just like the feel of it and the quality of it. I kind of feel like they're probably all made kind of similar to the same. I have seen some of them, they've got a bigger hammer head. I've seen some of them, I have seen some of them with a flat edge here. This is a little bit round. I don't like the flat edge if it's completely flat. That needs to be a little bit round so that you can get in up against a post and grab a nail. That's what that's for, okay? So it needs a little bit of a round. Other than that, they're okay. This tool right here, if you don't know anything about it, I would say everyone that does any fencing needs this tool, okay? I would say that the wire clippers, they're on both sides. I love that. You can come up or go down. I would say the wire clippers would be about an 8 or 9, or at least on this particular pair. I would give them a very good thumbs up. I mean, this is a very good set of wire clippers, okay? It's got a little grip back here. I do really like that. There's a lot of places that comes in handy. I'm not sure where on the scale I'd put it, but I really like them. I think they work very well. This hook right here and this right here, there is nothing else that I think is a better tool than this right here and this right here for pulling little tacks out, fencing tacks. This is the best thing. This right here, this tool and this tool, those two functions are the best for pulling tacks that I've ever seen, okay? The hammer, definitely second rate, possibly even third or fourth rate. I would not consider this an excellent hammer, but it will get you by. I do think I'm going to put one of these in our other four-wheeler, Savannah's four-wheeler, and I'll probably want to put one of these in my truck, and I won't have a hammer with me because this will be all I'll need. And that's why I said earlier, if all I had was these two, I would be fine. So this will get you by. It will drive a fencing tack, but it's just not all that great. But overall, the tool is excellent. I love it. There's plenty of videos out there that tell you exactly how to use these. You can go look those up. Let's move on here. I've got this right here. I don't need this very often. This hole is kind of handy if I've got some big wire or something I can get in there. For the most part, I've just needed it once or twice, okay? It's easy to carry. I've got 3 little compartments here. I'm only using 2. That's mostly why I'm carrying this. It's not that hard to carry. If I had 3 tools on my four-wheeler, this would be number 3. Okay, so I told you about the 2. This would definitely be right there with them. I really, really like this tool. It is so simple, but it's so handy. I almost always use it for something. You don't have to have it, but it is nice. Okay, and then let's see. So I've got this little extra slot here, and I can use that slot for putting all sorts of little things that I might need. I might need nails or something like that with me. I like to keep a couple of these since I do electric fence stuff. Some of the properties that we've got some electric fence, and we need stuff like this. So if something like this breaks on you and you don't have one of these, you got to go all the way back home and then come all the way back and put that back out there. I have tried putting some on the post, but then I got to thinking, if that's on the post for the same amount of time as the first one you put on there, they're both equally bad. So I keep just a couple of them right there and I'm good to go. Another thing I got another little compartment back in here. This is a pretty handy little tool. So I'm gonna actually lay this one down and I'll move on to these other ones because really you need to see these other ones first. So obviously I got this other little pouch here. These are just little leather bags. I've got fencing staples in there. You need to keep a couple of those around. There's all sorts of good little handy things you can do with them. So I've got those. I like to keep those around. And then I've got this right here. I'm sure a lot of you, if you've done any fencing, you've seen these at Tractor Supply. And I'm sure a lot of you have used them. There it is right there. Well, that one's full of something. Let's see if I can get one that doesn't have a dirt dauber in it. It's essentially just a cut off little piece of pipe. You can look down inside there. It's just a little old piece of pipe, basically is all it is. It's made of steel, and you put your barbed wire through on both sides, and it'll get you out of a pinch, okay? And you got this tool right there, and you've got a little bit of a slit up here, and then you've got some cutter left on it. This is basically just bolt cutters. The ones that you'll find at Tractor Supply, they're just bolt cutters with a slit cut in them. This is pretty nice, like I said. This I actually bought at Lowe's. It's a bolt cutter. I bought it because I didn't want to buy the actual tool for it because it was so long it didn't fit in my four-wheeler. So I bought this at Lowe's, took a Metabo and just cut that out. It literally took me 5 seconds and I had a really nice tool. I don't think there's any trouble with it being a little bit shorter. So for $20 cheaper, that's really nice. And I still got bolt cutters on there, and those actually being this short actually makes them really nice just for cutting barbed wire if you ever needed to. So I do really like this. I wouldn't think that you have to have this on your four-wheeler. You definitely wouldn't have to have this to fix fence. This is really nice, and it's very handy. There's lots of videos out there about how to use these. These are kind of pricey if you had to fix a lot of fence this way, and honestly, this is not my go-to choice, but it does work and it is convenient. So that's one of the other things that I have on here. I'll wrap that back up. So let's see. I think this is the last thing that I have in this box right here. This is just, you can buy this at Tractor Supply, and I'm sure you can buy it in other places as well. That's just where I happen to get it. All this is, it's 12 gauge soft galvanized wire. So instead of being like electric fence wire, where electric fence wire is hard and you can roll it one way and as soon as you come back the other way it snaps off, okay? This right here is extremely flexible. It's got a lot of forgiving flex in it. It's really handy to have. This is 100 feet of this 12 gauge wire, 100 feet for $11. I think it was $10.99, okay? This is so handy to have in your four-wheeler. I'm planning on making some other videos about all the stuff that you can do with just this roll of wire, okay? This is the same wire that they use to make tie wire, the little tie clips for T-posts. So the T-post ties that tie on whatever type of fencing you're using, this is the same thing. It's the same material. So, of course, I would always suggest going ahead and buying those if you're building fence, but I hate having those in the bottom of my four-wheeler box because they always jumping all around. When you grab a hold of one of those little T-post clips, you grab a hold of one, the whole bag will come out with it, okay? And then they'll fall apart and they're all over your box. You can't get anything out. They're just really aggravating. So when you're just fixing fence, all you need is this. You cut your little piece off and you tie it on there if you need one, okay? So I really like having this around. There's multiple reasons. Like I said, stay tuned. I'm gonna make some more videos about other stuff that this really comes in handy for. It's not very big. It fits down in here just right. It fits right there next to my axe, my hatchet, whatever you want to call it. I really like it. I would definitely have that with me. Let's move back over here. So we're pretty much done in the box. This right here is my little saw. I'll go ahead and pull it out. Like I said, and I'm sure all of y'all have seen one of these saws right here. This is not something you've got to have on a four-wheeler. You don't need this with you, okay? I keep this with me and I use it rarely, okay? But there has been a few times it's gotten me out of a bind. It's not very big. If it ever gets in my way, I'll just stop carrying it. So far, it hasn't gotten in my way. It rides right there or in my box, wherever I need it to. It's no problem, okay? These little saws, the blade is very sharp, and this will cut you through a nice tree. The main reason I've got so many sources of cutting is it never fails. You've got one or two people with you. You find a tree on a fence somewhere. Everybody can kind of get out and start cutting. You're back in business in no time. So it doesn't take up that much room. I keep it on there. Like I said, you don't have to have it. Your axe will do everything you need, okay? If you need to get into some serious business, a chainsaw will take care of it. So I really like having it. Let me get this, well, I'll tie that back up in a minute. Let's see, what else do I got? I got a machete, okay? You don't need this, all right? If I had to choose between this machete and that saw, I would probably go ahead and choose this machete, just because there are some places where this is a little bit more handy than that axe over there. Just simply because of the sheer length of it. You can really get out on some vines and stuff, okay? So there are some places this does come in handy, and I would even consider this my fourth tool if I only had 4 tools on my four-wheeler, okay? Which obviously I don't, but this is this is really, really handy to have. And it's a little short one, but I've got so many other cutting tools, I don't need anything any longer. It wedges right there behind that box. It's never in the way. There's no trouble there at all. Okay. And then I've got this little box. I got this from Tractor Supply too. So this just bolts on the back of the hair. It stays dry. I've never had any trouble with that. I keep this in here. I've made a video about this. I would really rather have this in my truck. Right now it's in here. Whatever the case may be, I use it for checking electric fence. It's cheap. You buy it at Lowe's, $7. Okay. But what it's actually for is checking something like I can't think, a power outlet or something. You can stick it in there and it'll tell you whatever it is. Tell you, whether it's 110, 220, no matter what it is, it'll tell you what it is. And it'll tell you whether it's AC or DC. So it's handy to have, $7. My wife bought me this. She knows I like coffee. She knows I like to drink coffee while I'm out checking the cows in the morning. So I can slip my little Yeti right down in there. It works really nice. I keep a couple different pairs of gloves. Mostly I use this for my books. I got one for all the cows, and then I've got one for the pastures to tell me what's going on with the grass, to tell me what's going on, any washouts that are new. I mean, everything. I write everything in this book for that, and everything for my cows goes in this book. These right here, I would consider them as important as all your other tools that I was talking about. I didn't really consider this a tool when I was mentioning those, but this definitely, you need a notebook. The reason I wouldn't consider this one you have to have on your four-wheeler is because most people put stuff in their phone. I'm just old-fashioned, so this works for me. I've got a tagger in here and some tags along with a marker that I mark. I really like these. These work really nice. So I've got these tags right here. I was just going to keep it on here during tagging season, but then I found out I really like the box. And everything rides right there, no problem, and I can tag. And the other day, I got to tell you, I was really thankful it was all here, because we bought a group of heifers a little while back ago, put the bull on them about 6 months ago, and now we have a calf on the ground from just one of them. So obviously it was already bred. Really glad I had that, and really glad I had my books. So I got that in there. Of course, I got a couple of pencils and things like that. And then I've got this. This is neither here nor there. I just keep this right here because my four-wheeler can charge my phone, and I can charge it right there. I've got a little dry box over there. If my phone's dying on me and I gotta have my phone on me, there it is. So I like to keep that in there. You do whatever you want on that. Put all that back in there. Let's see, one of the last things I'm gonna talk about here. This front basket, you wanna have a good basket on your four-wheeler that is 90% empty, okay? It stays pretty much empty. If I need to throw a chainsaw in there, it's empty. If I need it, this right here, I threw this in here today. I needed a little extra wire, threw that in there. It's always empty, okay? And this right here, you look at this, I made this to where it will stick a spinning Jenny right down inside this wedge right here, and that way I can roll hot wire off of it. And I can make a little video on that too. It works really awesome because I can bring this any part of the fence I want it. I can move it around, no problem, okay? The last thing I want to talk about is this right here. I think it's the last thing. If y'all bear with me. I've got this little piece of square tubing. Put it in there, and I've done it. I've briefly touched on this before, but all this is it's my electric fence, my temporary fence. So it's my poly wire. I got it on a little reel, homemade reel, but it would also fit any of the reels that you buy at the store. It'll fit down inside that, and I can drive and it will unroll, okay? So I really like that. I can turn it over, get it out of the way. Got this little knob there, pinch it down. Right now it's clamped on because I need some more of this. I need some more of this right here so that I can put it on my other four-wheeler, because I really like having this on both four-wheelers. So I want to get this welded onto both four-wheelers. Right now I don't have any more square tubing, so there's that. Trying to think. Oh yeah, feed sack. So I mentioned this feed sack earlier. Most of y'all know that I don't really feed my cows. I definitely don't feed my calves. My calves, I try to go all grass-fed just because that's the market that we're in right now. And personally, I do think they're healthier. But the person that I bought the cows from, if you'll look at this, is actually deer corn. The person I bought my cows from, they did feed all the time. Okay, so the cows were used to coming up to a feed sack, and they were not used to moving from pasture to pasture. This was very handy when I first got them. Now I don't use it very often, but every now and then when they just won't move, they still know what this sound is. For the most part, they'll come when I call them, they'll come when I open the gate. When I tell them to move, they'll move. But every now and then, like I said, this is really handy. The other day, they actually got out on some blacktop out on the road over here, and I pulled this out, and by golly, they all came with me. Never even gave them any food. I just brought them to a new pasture, and they were so happy, they didn't even question it. They know what this means. It means food, whether that's grass, feed, whatever it is, okay? So I keep this on here. If you've never given your cows any feed, this is probably worthless to you, but for me, it's pretty valuable. Let's see. I think that's everything. Oh, one more thing. Now, I have touched on this back here a couple times. I'm gonna go ahead and say it again in this video because that's what this is about. First of all, this is a Foreman 500. This Honda Foreman 500. I'm not saying that you need a Honda. I like Honda, but for me, I really like this 500cc motor, and I really like being four-wheel drive. It is very handy for everything that I do. It's just very useful, okay? I'll put it that way. And it's a great fuel saver for you know, because I use it for driving all around, and if I was driving my truck around all the time, I would just burn right through fuel. Okay, this is the last thing I think, again, that I want to talk about. I say it is. I might have something else in there I'll talk about too. This right here is my hitch. I've made a video on it. I'll go ahead and put a link in there just so y'all can look at it if you have not looked at it. This is a very nice hitch. I got a ball in here, I got a hole here, and these right here are holes to drop chain down inside of. So I don't know if you can see it very well. It's starting to get dark. And then the last thing, well, A, I like to keep rags, and then B, I really do like to keep this right here. I don't use it that often, but it is pretty handy. So I think that's everything, guys. Thanks for bearing with me on all my uhs. It's been a long day. So thanks, everybody. Don't forget to subscribe and comment. Thanks.